Well, good morning, everybody. It's been a while since we've touched base, that's for sure. You know, I've had some people ask, what am I doing with all my free time since I'm not on trail anymore? Well, today's pretty rainy, and I'm kind of glad I'm not on the trail today, at least. But I am missing it a little bit. You know, we're now in February, and I know there's a lot of people who are taking off and marching forward on the trail starting this month, and there'll be even more in March and then again in April. So it's about to really take off, and it does kind of make you want to think back to the time when you took off and what you faced and the uncertainty of what the trail might hold for the next 6 months beyond that. But I'm not worried about that too much right now. So what I've been doing is really just been focused on doing a lot of things around the house. I do have other hobbies other than just hiking. As you saw, I work on old trucks, build hot rods, is basically what I do. It's one that I drive probably most often, and then just outside the window there's another out there. These are all 1954 Ford F100s, and so I kind of build 1953, 54, 55, or 56 F100s are my favorite. So this is the current project I'm working on, and it's going to be pretty nice. This will be an automatic transmission car. This is I put in this one a Mustang GT 5.0 engine, and runs on computer and all that kind of cool stuff. And like I say, automatic transmission, and then the rear end is out of a Corvette, 1985 Corvette. C5 Corvette. So it's going to be a pretty nice truck when I'm all done with this one. So this is what I've been spending a lot of my time doing, and I've got a clip actually of cranking this. I just cranked it this week for the very first time, and I'll add that to this video as well. But what am I doing these days other than building trucks? Not a lot, honestly. You know, we're just going through a pretty cool winter, and hadn't had a lot to do outside, so just working on trucks has been my primary focus. But I am kind of eager to get into the place where the weather's a bit warmer and start planning on doing some maybe some hiking for sure. I don't have any huge hikes planned so far this year. I am going to plan on probably in May going up to trail days in Damascus, Virginia, and I won't be there probably more than about a day, but I'll take another day yet and do some hiking around Damascus. And that last 15 miles before you get into Damascus, Virginia is really cruisy trail. And I know a lot of people do it while they're up there, but it's about 15 miles, I'd say about 14 miles on relatively flat ridge walking. And then the last mile or so, you just drop down into the south end of Damascus. So that'd be kind of cool, and I'm hoping some of the folks who I hiked with in 2025 will also be there, and I can spend some time and kind of see what they're up to too. So that'll be kind of cool. Now, I am planning on doing a fairly large hike in 2027. So that's kind of in the planning, very early planning stages. My friend Detox and I, who you might remember I hiked with through, I'd say, northern Virginia and all of West Virginia, Maryland, and southern Pennsylvania together. And then he had a meniscus issue and had to get off trail. But he and I are planning on potentially doing a hike next year of the Camino de Santiago trail. So if you're not familiar with the Camino de Santiago, it's basically a pilgrimage trail. It's primarily in Spain, but you know, you've got a lot of different trails that you take on your way to Santiago in Spain. And I think he's kind of leaning towards Portugal, start in Portugal and go north up to the town of Santiago. I believe that trail is maybe 350 miles or something like that. And the one I would probably prefer is the French way, which is you start in France and you go up and over the Pyrenees Mountains. You're only in France for a couple of days, and then you bounce into Spain and you hike all the way across Spain, and it's about 500 miles. So that's the one I would probably prefer, but I'm open. Honestly, I would do either one. So that's something that we're kind of thinking about kicking around and planning for this year as we look forward to next year. So yeah, we'll see where all that goes. And next month, my wife and I in March are going to spend a couple weeks. We'll be over in Israel, the Holy Lands, and spending, I think the trip was about 10 days. And I look forward to that. In fact, I'm planning on videoing, doing a day-by-day video diary of our trip over there. So if you have interest in that, then feel free to tune in, and you'll start seeing that probably closer to mid-March to the end of March here in the next few weeks. So should be pretty cool. So we'll keep you posted as we get things done. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go back to working on the trucks and making stuff run and building hot rods, I guess. So yeah, we'll fire this one off for you, and we'll look forward to catching up with you on the very next video. Have a great one. All right, folks. This is the status of my current project, 1954 Ford F100. And I've been working for the past few months, putting a Coyote engine in it. The guy I bought the Coyote engine from let me have a lot of parts, which also included the original Mustang GT radiator, fan, condenser, transcooler, everything came with it. So I said, I'm gonna figure out if I can find a way to make it work. So I used, of course, the original 54 F100 radiator surround, but it left a huge gap above that little small Mustang GT radiator. So I fabricated this piece to kind of blend it together, and I think it turned out pretty good. So I was going to try to crank this thing just a couple of days ago. I felt I had everything wired up perfectly and is all good to go. And unfortunately, the fuel pump I had on it, which is a electric inline fuel pump, was not working. So I contacted Summit, got me a new one, and got it hooked up. And I've just turned the key on in order to go ahead and set fuel pressure with the fuel pressure regulator. It needs to be set around 50, 55 pounds or PSI. So let's light this candle. That's key on power. You can hear the rather loud fuel pump. Here we go. Of course, we don't have any exhaust on it at all, so it's pretty loud, just open headers. But she runs. She's breathing fire. Sounds good. So this is the color that I'm going to be painting. So that is off of about a 65 Mustang called Wimbledon White.